Hello, everyone. Good to see you. So, usual format this morning, I'll say a few words, 5 or 10 minutes, then we'll sit, and then there'll be a little time for you to say anything you'd like to say about your practice. So, this morning, I wanted to talk a little bit about a link between moha, delusion, and Vedana, and particularly neutral Vedana. And Wegener are, I think they're interesting because they have a big effect, but they don't necessarily feel very strong in themselves. Um, pleasant Vedana doesn't need to feel very pleasant before, um, craving gets a whiff of it, and before you know, we've acted on it, whether it's a beneficial thing to do or not. And the same with aversion, doesn't need to be very, sorry, not aversion, the unpleasant Vedana can be quite powerful because it triggers or leads to aversion, which is very strong. So they automatically stimulate craving and aversion. Just a slight pleasant feeling, and yeah, craving does the rest, if you like. It exaggerates pleasant aspects, it exaggerates the rewards of something, sees only the good sides. Yes, has brings up into being all these views that say that the desired object is vital to our happiness. All of that. Moha, delusion, the third poison, is a little bit different. It doesn't tend to have the drama or the strong feeling of the first two, and it can feel a bit more like an absence of doing, of action. There's that other translation of moha, ignorance, ignoring or overriding, perhaps overriding a skillful impulse, and not keeping on, doing something, not keeping on, perhaps being aware. So there's times when we lose interest in practice, or we run out of steam, when we might recognize what I call can't be bothered mind, or saying, oh, it doesn't matter, the mind that says, oh, it doesn't matter, it's yeah, it's only a little thing. Whatever it is, we can recognize moha at work, recognize delusion doing its job, which is to obscure the nature of reality. Obscure perhaps what needs to be done in practice or in life. And all of those little phrases that I've described above, they're all pretty low affect. They can't be bothered mind, they're losing interest or running out of steam. There aren't strong feelings there, so they can escape our notice, if you like. We can escape or we can not notice the neutral Vedana that sort of, because it's neutral Vedana that led to these sort of broader actions of delusion or ignorance. So bringing awareness, the more continuous our awareness is, the more frequently we can remember and remind ourselves to be aware. Then we get some momentum and we're able to pick up more easily the neutral Vedana, or the more neutral expressions of moha. It can be tempting to start trying really hard when we realize there are little mind states like, oh, this, I can't be bothered, or just not that interested in practice at the moment, or yeah. So trying hard is a natural response to that, but it's really unhelpful, as a lot of you will know. What really helps is putting the energy into looking after our practice, looking after our relationship with the practice, especially noticing if that trying hard is accompanied by judging, the judging mind, trying really hard to get ourselves back on track, rejecting certain things that are happening and trying to have a particular type of practice. So not judging or overriding our skillful impulses or judging that we've run out of interest in the practice, but just noticing, just using that clear and kindly, spacious awareness, as with any other object. And actually, you can celebrate a bit because the mind is noticing more subtle objects when it notices objects connected with delusion, with moha. So that's sati, if you like, but then samprajanya, clear knowing. This can help keep us in touch with the value of awareness, the value of keeping being aware. And I really like Bante's definition of samprajanya. He says we know what you're doing and how it relates to your overall spiritual goals and practice. So we know what we're doing and we know how it relates to our overall spiritual goals and practice. So we keep in mind, if you like, what is valuable about awareness. And that might need listening to something or reading something, or reflecting, just reflecting a little bit at the beginning of a practice. And as Bante also says, so in this way, we're not lapsing into spiritual unconsciousness, which is just a very good description of being lost in the soup of delusion. So this is a practice not only for meditation, but for daily life. And both places are equally valuable and have equal possibility in terms of spotting the more muted palette of neutral Vedana. Spotting those moments where the mind feels a bit sort of drifty or unengaged or not quite present are key to moha spotting delusion. But the potential for neutral Vedana doesn't stop there, actually. It's also key to wisdom, the growth of wisdom in the mind. And I think it's someone like Martine Batchelor. She says neutral Vedana, when seen with delusion, with moha, with this slightly sort of lackadaisical mind, we tend to experience that as slightly unpleasant, actually. But when neutral Vedana are just seen for what they are, and that can include just the sort of things like spaciousness or open mind or subtle mind, then those tend to be experienced as pleasant. So when there's a clearer knowing of moha, a little bit more objective, a little bit more wisdom in the mind, then actually the experience becomes one that there's I can't think of the word, a sort of cycle between recognizing the Vedana, recognizing the feeling tone and the wisdom. There's like a cyclic thing that gets set up there. So that's all I'll say for today. If you like to set up your mats, cushions, chairs, I'll just mute myself.